Hi there, welcome to C programming tutorial. I'm your host Suhail Hamid. Um, Today we are going to learn about um how to input and output messages on the console. Um, Last time we learned about different kind of variables, constants, and different kind of types. Today we are going to learn about how to output the values of those variables on the screen. That's what we are gonna do. If on the screen you right now on the video, you should be able to see a link to the playlist of all the tutorials in this series. Please make sure that you watch all of them. Okay, let's get started. So last time we learned how we can use the how we can declare the variables, and how we can assign values to them, and how we can basically do the operations like plus minus on those variables. So here let's say if let's say we write a program that basically is going to add two numbers and output the result on the screen. So let's say let's declare a variable x, and then a variable y, and then a variable z. Now let's give the values to these variables. Let's say x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3, and z is equal to x plus y. So our goal was to basically add two numbers together. So this is how we are going to do it. We declare the variable x, we declare the variable y, we declare the variable z, and then we assign a value to this variable, assign value to y, and then we say that z is actually gets the value of x plus y. So at this point the value of z should be 5. Now we want to output that value on the screen. So how are we going to do that? Let's see. So this is what you do. Whenever you have to output something on the screen, on the console, what you have to do is to use this function. Don't worry about what functions are, we are going to cover it later on, but just remember that you have to write print f as it is shown in the screen right now, and then bracket start, parentheses, and then quotes. You have to write everything in quotes that you want to be printed as is. So we start with quotes, and then we write the sum of 2 and 3 is 5. Okay, now notice that we haven't used the variables themselves here, but let's just write this for now, and please ignore whatever is written here. So this is it. So we wrote that, and now what we are going to do is we are going to compile it. How do you compile it? As I said, computer is not going to understand this. Computer doesn't understand C. Computer doesn't understand C++. It doesn't understand Pascal. It doesn't even understand assembly. The only language it understands is machine language. So every program that we write in any other language, what we have to do, we have to translate it into the machine language, and this process is called compiling the program. So we are going to compile this program. So we take this tools, we go to tools, and then we go to execute, and then we go to compile and run. And as you can see, it has a shortcut of pressing F9. So most of the time I'll be pressing F9. So we'll go to execute, and then do compile and run, and then it will start compiling it. And bingo! Look at this. It's displaying the output, the result of that program running. And what is it saying? The sum of 2 and 3 is 5. So cool. So this is what we asked it to do to begin with. We asked it to basically what we did was in this program we asked it to write this message, and what it is doing is it's writing as is. It's not writing the actual values here. So how do we display the actual values? This is what we do. Okay, then this is what's going to come in handy. Something called format specifier. So printf needs a string. This is called a string. A string is basically a collection of characters. So each one, like T, H, E, they are all characters. The string is the collection of all these characters. So if you want to print the value of x, which is 2, instead of this 2, what we have to do is we have to write %d here. And as you can see, that %d basically represents the integer format specifier. So these are called format specifiers. Anything that has % followed by a small character, it tells the compiler what it needs to print instead of this. So we write %d, it tells the compiler that okay, it has to print the sum of, and it doesn't want to print %d, it will have to print the value of this variable that we specify here. Similarly, instead of 3, I'm going to change it to %d and then write y, because we want the second operand to be printed here. And then for the result, we'll change it to from %d and then place z here. So essentially what we are doing here is basically we are telling the compiler that print this, the sum of, then the value of x and the value of y is the value of z. So let's see how the compiler deals with it now. So let's see, execute, execute, well, oh, because this program is still running. Okay, here, compile and run, and here, look at this. The output is exactly the same as it was before. The only difference is the way we are creating this output. The output that we are creating here, %d, it's basically this 2 is basically the value of x this time. It's not the part of this message itself. It's basically substituting in this message, it's substituting the value of x here. So if I change the value of x to say 5 or 4, then let's see what happens. I will close that and then do another compile. Look at this. See, the message changed. The message changed. The sum of 4 and 3 is 7, because the value of x is now 4, the value of y is 3, and the value of z is 7. So you see, the point is that whatever you have to write, you can write. But when you have to, whatever the message that you have to write, you can write that message. But if you have to print the values of the variables inside that message, you have to use the format specifiers. And here are the format specifiers. For the character type, as we last time we looked at, you could have a character char and then variable name c. So the character types, for the character types you use %c. For integer types, you could use %d or %i. They are the same. They are exactly the same. So you could use any of those. For float, we also learned the data type called float. You could have a variable defined f, and what do? They basically hold numbers, but not integers. Any number like 2.5, etc. Well, we are running out of time, so let's continue this lecture in the next video. Be sure to watch it. Thank you so much.